In this moment, she's probably thinking, how did this happen?
Sherri, the judge ordered psychiatric treatment. The judge ordered psychiatric treatment. How do you feel about that?
You lie to investigate.
The judge ordered psychiatric treatment. How do you feel about that? We talked about PTSD today in the court. The judge.
Sorry, you don't want to say anything at all?
PTSD? Do you want to say anything? Any comment on this proceeding?
Hey, John, girl. You see how to go to prison?
This is SSB Rye, and today we'll be talking about the case of Sherri Papini. Sherri Papini, or Sherri Grafe as was her maiden name, was born on June 11th, 1982 in Redding, California. While Sherri seems to have caused some turbulence in her household, namely her father accusing her of burglarizing their household in 2000 and her mom letting the authorities know that Sherri had been harming herself and blaming her on the injuries, things seemed to settle down when she married Keith Papini in 2009. Together, they had 2 children, and during interviews, her sisters called her a supermom, so everything seems to have seemed fine from the outside. All of that changed on November 2nd, 2016, when Sherri suddenly vanished. The first to realize something was amiss was Keith. After returning home from work and realizing Sherri was not home, he eventually used the Find My iPhone app to locate her cell phone and earbuds about a mile away from their home.
911, what is your emergency? CHP transfer. Keith is on the line. Hello, can I help you?
Hello? Yeah, I just got home from work, and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual, and my kids should have been there by now from, daycare. So I was like, oh, maybe she went on a walk. I couldn't find her, so I called the daycare to see what time she picked up the kids. The kids were never picked up, so I got freaked out, so I hit, the Find My iPhone app thing, and it said that it showed her phone, at our end of our driveway. We don't have really good service.
Okay.
Not the end of our driveway, but the end of our street. So I just drove down there, and I saw her phone with her headphones because she started running again. And I found her phone, and it's got, hair ripped out of it, in the headphones. So I'm, totally freaking out, thinking, somebody,
What's her?
grabbed her.
Okay.
The police quickly launched into action, and even the now notoriously private Keith made the rounds on television begging to get his wife back safely.
I'm coming, honey. I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. And I love you.
Pleading for his wife's safe return.
Bring her home. Bring her home. Just bring her home.
After about a month of uncertainty, a $50,000 reward, intense scrutiny and suspicion on Keith, and national attention, Sherri miraculously reappeared on Thanksgiving Day, November 24th. She was caught on surveillance footage running up and down the street around the time that she was dropped off, which was at 4:30 in the morning. She was eventually able to flag down a motorist that got in contact with the police, who let Keith know that she had been found. In a later statement Keith made to Good Morning America, he said that Sherri had suffered incredibly through both intense physical agony and severe mental torture. My first sight was my wife in a hospital bed, her face covered in bruises ranging from yellow to black because of repeated beatings, the bridge of her nose broken, Keith Papini said. Her now emaciated body of 87 pounds was covered in multicolored bruises, severe burns, red rashes, and chain markings. Her signature long blonde hair had been chopped off. She had been branded, and I could feel the rise of her scabs under my fingers. Based on her interviews with the police, they said they were searching for a dark-colored SUV and 2 Mexican women who had abducted her at gunpoint. Of course, the internet being what it is, a divide emerged between 2 camps. On one side, you had people who said things did not add up, and on the other, you had people who said Sherri couldn't have done this to herself. So why did people doubt Sherri's story? Well, for one, she was super vague about the description of the Mexican women who had kidnapped her, saying they wore bandanas around her the entire time they had her. She was equally vague about her time in captivity in general as well, and with the time being gone lasting about 3 weeks, you would think she would be able to remember something, right? Finally, among other things, the clothes in which Sherri were found had traces of male and female DNA that the police could not match to either Sherri or Keith. To complicate matters, the police themselves, there was no reason to believe that this was a hoax, and of course you had people saying that Sherri couldn't possibly have done this to herself.
Her husband's statement also refers to online comments and activity, people questioning this, suggesting it may have been a hoax. You still have no reason at all to doubt her story?
Absolutely none. So far, we are still investigating this as a kidnapping abduction, and everything that she is providing us thus far is indicating that.
Nancy Grace came to Sherri's defense on Good Morning America.
I don't know why we're focusing on something she did in the past to suggest she wasn't kidnapped. I mean, you'd have to believe she did all of that to herself.
Turns out she really was that crazy. What happened was that Sherri decided to run away with an ex-boyfriend of hers. His was the foreign DNA found on her clothes alongside his sister's, with whom she spent the 3 weeks that she was gone, but she started missing her children. So she hatched up a plan to go back to her family without repercussions. So around the time of her release, she had the ex-boyfriend help create some bruises on her, such as having him hit her with a hockey puck, though most of the damage was self-inflicted, including a branding she inflicted on herself using a wood-burning tool that the ex bought from Hobby Lobby. And now, all that effort to disguise what really happened has come back to bite her in the ass, and now faces charges of lying to investigators and mail fraud. I really feel for Keith because from day one, he did his best to save his missing wife. You could tell from the interviews that this situation really took a toll on him, and the sheer relief that he had when she was found. I mean, this is the guy who held on to their love letters from when they were in middle school, and he showed them to her proudly when they reconnected as adults. But ultimately, I find a sense of schadenfreude because Sherri was reckless and wasteful of people's time and energy, as well as that of the police resources. Beyond that, she was also racist as hell by saying that it was Mexican women who kidnapped her. This would not be the first time Sherri showed racist tendencies, as a username on skinheads.com using her maiden name said that she got into a fight with Latinos who targeted her because she was drug-free, white, and proud of her blood and heritage. While this post cannot be conclusively linked to Sherri, she did maintain a public Pinterest account that contained a section dedicated to memes expressing concerns about illegal immigrants and Muslims. So I hope she gets everything coming to her, but I do wish Keith and her kids the best because they are the true victims of Sherri's deception. There you have it, the case of Sherri Papini. Let me know what you think of this case in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. SSB Rye signing out.